Everyone loves a bit of candy everyone's in a while, and there are plenty of different kinds to choose from out here. However, some candies get banned due to poor sales or due to something far more ridiculous. These are 10 banned candy that can kill you. Watch till the end, we have bonus for you. Candy cigarettes. Candy cigarettes first began to be sold in the late 1800s and made from the gum, sugar, and chocolate that was wrapped in a paper in a pack that resembled a box of cigarettes. They began to see as a way to desensitize children to the idea of smoking, however, and for a time cigarette manufacturers even helped with the production of the candy and allowed the branding to be used on packets. As a medical organization began to become more aware of the dangers of smoking, these collaborations become less common, and the products have now been banned in virtually every country around the world. Studies have shown that a surprising percentage of smokers had candy cigarettes when they were young compared to people who don't smoke. So the link between the two has been proved to be significant. What seems like an innocent children's treat is probably responsible for the most deaths of any candy ever, and it's no surprise that very few places now allow them to be sold. 9. Exploding gum. A Ukrainian chemistry student learned his cost in 2009 after supercharging his bubble gum with tragic results. He liked to increase the sour test of his favorite brand, so he would often dip it into critical acid before chewing. On this occasion, however, he used the wrong powder and instead dipped it in explosives. All it took was one chew and his gum exploded. His jaw and most of the lower part of his face was blown clean off, and he died soon after. 8. Lollipipe. Even though lollipipes were never intended to be sold to children, their availability in a wide range of flavors meant that it was inevitable that kids would get their hands on them. And this posed a real problem made from candy. These pipes were designed for smoking certain substances through, and one of their marketing claims was that they were flameproof, so it could be used time and time again. They became popular for smokers, but they were believed to encourage children to try out what they were designed for, and this resulted in a significant increase in drugs used by underage people. 7. Roadkill gummy candy. There are several types of gummy candy available in stores. But in 2004, Kraft thought they had come up with an idea that would help them stand out among the rest. Each one of these candies was in the shape of chickens, rabbits, squirrels, and snake with tire tracks on them. But within the following years, they ended production after a series of campaigns by animal rights activists, who claimed they trivialized the idea of injuring animals through fears that the product sent a message to children that were okay to harm animals. Roadkill gummy candy was forced to relent and rethink the strategy. 6. Toxic waste chew bar. Toxic waste candy has become popular recently because of its extreme sourness taste. But there was one product that arranged a toxic waste nuclear sludge chew bar that was banned in 2011. It had been originally launched in 2007, but there were serious concerns about the ingredients that were used to make candy. Not as you might suspect in regards to how they made it so sour, but more as a result of where and how they were produced. The company's factory was in Pakistan, and the sourness test, the FDA revealed that they had detected significant levels of lead within the chew bars, to a level that could be potentially harmful to small children, infants, and pregnant women. Regulations require lead levels to be below 0.1 parts per million, and the bars were found to have at least 3 times these limits. Candy Dynamics, the company that sells the toxic waste range of candies, complied with the recall. The bars were removed from stores, and instead of reworking the recipe, they gave up on that particular candy for good. 5. Kinder Egg and Wonder Ball. The Kinder version is available around the world, and each one contains a plastic egg that contains a plastic egg that contains a collectible toy to assemble, but for a long time they've been banned in the US. It's all because of a law that was introduced in the 1930s that strictly prohibited non-nutritive objects from being embedded within any type of food. The concern was that some people wouldn't be aware there's something in the treat that can't be eaten, and it would, therefore, pose a serious choking hazard. While this may seem like overzealous lawmaking, the concerns aren't completely unfounded. In 2016, a 3-year-old girl in France died after choking on a toy in a Kinder Egg, and there have been a number of instances elsewhere where injuries have happened because of swallowing the plastic figurines. 4. Hippie Chippy. This sweet hippie sippy consisted of multicolored chocolate balls that were contained within a vial, and to get to them you have to suck through the needle. The similarities to drug use weren't accidental but were, in fact, the whole point of this candy. It was designed to replicate hippie drug culture, with the needle and syringe being associated with heroin use and the colored balls representing uppers and downers. To make things even worse, each hippie sippy come with a button that had slogans such as "Hippie Sippy Say I Will Try Anything and We Sell Happiness." Needless to say, sins prevailed and the products were pulled from the shelves less than a year after being released. Making drugs use feel fun to children clearly risks then moving on to harder candies later in life. So this could have potentially been one of the most dangerous products to ever have been developed. 3. Haribo Sugar-Free Gummy Bear. Haribo Gummy Bear was one of the world's popular candy brands. In 2014, their sugar-free gummy bear gained attention because of a rather unfortunate side effect that was experienced by people who eat them in large quantities. The reason for this was the replacement of the sugar used in normal recipes was lycasen, a substance that's almost as sweet as sugar but contains half the calories. Its main ingredient is maltose, which is a sugar alcohol. But our body can't fully digest it, and its percent is high enough quantities it can structure ferment in the stomach. Because of this, the Amazon reviews were rather detailed, with some calling it napalm and saying that it caused intestinal distress and reminiscent of trumpets calling demons back to hell. 2. Lucas Mexican Candy. The powdered candy was sold in a shaker container that children would use to shake it into the mouths. Other was seen shaking the powder onto a table, arranging it into a line and then sniffing it, which immediately worried people about the similarity with drug use. Lucas claimed that this was the result of using the product wrong, and it was designed to be lightly sprinkled on fruit to make it taste better. The company was banned in the end wasn't because they were teaching children how to take part in an adult candy though, but because of what the product contained. Tests showed that it had more than twice the allowed levels of lead and was so immediately banned by regulators. 1. Free candy. You might think the best kind of candy is free candy, but in Spain, the tradition of giving candy is actually being banned. On the 5th of January, each year towns across the country hold a Christmas parade called Collide de Deus, which sees 3 wise men greeting children before handing out gifts. The man is taken through the streets to a church in a carriage, and part of the tradition involves throwing candy from the carriage into the crowds. It has, however, led to a number of injuries as children scramble to collect what they can. But in 2013, a 6-year-old boy was killed when he went into the street to collect some candy and was hit by the carriage. Bonus. Hotlicks Insect Candy. This candy is made up of from chocolate-dipped scorpions to insect brittle to suckers that feature ants, crickets, worms, and more. This company was one of the first to take gross to a new level. The inspiration behind the company comes from the owner, who took inspiration from tequila that was served with a worm. He also happens to eat insects on a regular basis. These candies won't harm you, and if you can get over the fact you're crushing on a worm, they aren't in fact as gross tasting as you might think. But it's up to you whether a scorpion sliding down your throat grosses you out or not. Top 10 amazing here. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.